Welcome back to Raised by Her.
How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing much better, thank you.
You've been busy. I've missed you. You've been all over. You've been traveling.
I have. It's been good busy though.
Yeah. Which is
It's
how
been
busy one have these days.
very beneficial because it was filled with some excitement and a lot of family love.
Where were you?
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Why were you in Chattanooga?
I was at a wedding, family event, and one of our cousins, one of our first cousins' sons, got married. The son that's about your age, and it was a beautiful wedding.
It was, so it was worth it because I really feel like weddings can be hit or miss. Like it's a conversation that we have in our household. It's like, okay, yeah, we're so happy for these people that are getting married. Do we really want to go?
Yes. It was not only full of what I like to call all of the special touches for the couple, but also a lot of special touches and a lot of thought went into making the occasion very enjoyable for the family and everybody that attended.
Like what? Like what was one of the special touches that you really appreciated?
Well, the wedding itself was outdoors in the Lookout Mountains in Tennessee.
I'm so jealous of people that can have outdoor wedding because it's so risky.
Well, but it was
But it worked out.
beautiful. It was a beautiful fall day. The weather was just perfect.
Excellent.
And it was a little warm, but they had fans for everyone that they gave.
Okay.
And
Yes, thinking through it.
yes, every little detail. So not only having special drinks that were very unique to the bride and the groom. So when you got there, you had a chance to have one of the specialty drinks, and of course to have water easily available and beautiful outdoor music playing, live music playing, and the sun was just at the
It was
right
perfect.
place
Okay.
on the patio. And then you move to another section. You would appreciate this. They had very large photos of the bride and groom. So as you're walking to the seats where you're going to watch the ceremony itself, you're looking at these beautiful, large photographs of the bride and groom.
I do appreciate that.
And
Yes.
it was very nice. And there's this new technique of you can go to a telephone and you can, instead of writing a special message to the bride and groom, you record the message. So you'd say who it is, and then you give them the special message. And it was just.
I'm sorry that I couldn't go, but I'm glad it was everything that the bride, the groom, and the attendees wanted and needed it to be. Because traveling for a wedding is also, particularly traveling nowadays, it can be a little tricky. How was your travel? Was it okay?
My travel was good.
Okay,
It was perfect. And your cousin kept saying we wanted to get married in Italy, but we decided that we would get married here. So he was thanking everyone for coming to Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Okay.
And his bride is Haitian, and so they had some special touches in terms of the menu. And
Did you try any Haitian food?
Well, a little bit.
You know exactly what it was?
Well, yes, it was Haitian food.
Okay. That's fine.
So, but when the bride's father did his toast, he did it in the Haitian form of French, and it was beautiful. And then they had it translated.
French is a sexy language.
Very nice, very nicely done, and something you would have really loved at the very end of the evening after all the special dances and everything was over. They had everyone to go outside, and they had a fireworks show.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Oh, yes, in the mountains. And so
Sounds like a budget well spent.
So yes, I'm sure it was. I was thinking he was talking about Italy, but they probably spent on some Italy kind of money on
Chattanooga, Tennessee, but it was worth it.
Tennessee, yes. And Chattanooga is very historic, and then the fact that we were in the mountains and all that was.
Wait, is Chattanooga one of the places that we used to go for family reunions? You were somewhere
Mhm.
in Tennessee,
Tennessee,
right? Somewhere in
yes,
the mountains?
somewhere in the mountains, but
Okay.
so, but I hadn't been to Chattanooga in quite a while. I think we had to go through
Oh, okay, we
Chattanooga,
drove
so
through it, we never
but the
stayed.
Lookout
Okay.
Mountains were just beautiful at that particular time. So I was blessed to be there with family and cousins, and they asked about you, and I told them you all had another obligation,
Yeah,
otherwise you would have been there. And,
absolutely.
we love weddings.
We do love weddings. Anytime that family can get together for a positive and good occasion.
Yes,
So they
we
say, like,
do.
families get together for weddings and funerals,
Yeah, yes.
so definitely for the
In
weddings.
fact, we actually talked about the fact that the last time that all of us had been together, it was for my mother's funeral. And
Mm,
so we were happy to be there for a special occasion that
yeah.
was a happy occasion and just very thankful
Yep.
for the celebration. And so we have a beautiful new cousin in the family. And
Yay!
yes,
Love when
so
families grow.
I know. Yes.
Okay, so that was a part of your week, and then you
Mhm.
got back and had to immediately go get celebrated at the NAACP, and because you won a social justice award.
I did. I did. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you
So
very
well
much.
deserved.
Well, I was very surprised and very humbled. It's called the Arthur Fisher Award, and the NAACP gives Freedom Awards to many of the individuals in our community that have done work in the community over the years. And so they gave quite a few awards out. But
Well, that is
yeah.
certainly you. Very community minded, community focused, and community with positive impact.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So I was just very humbled, but it was a beautiful affair. And the keynote speaker for this celebration, it was the 74th annual Freedom Awards banquet,
Hmm.
was a gentleman by the name of Ed Gordon.
Why
And
do I know that name?
well, he is a journalist. He
Okay.
had shows on BET. He's
Oh, yeah, I know it. Okay.
quite a bit of history, not only in terms of the civil rights movement and the kinds of stories that he has done throughout the years, but quite an articulate journalist who really has had an impact in terms of the thought that we as a people and we as a culture have really had to sort of go through change and transition. And he's been around for
What do you talk
quite a
about?
while. He talked about the areas of politics today.
Okay.
He talked about the fact of what our responsibility is, the responsibility of African Americans for themselves to be able to move through these challenging times with not only an attitude of what needs to be done, but then making sure that you are doing something. Most recently, of course, there was the No Kings March.
Mhm.
And he talked about the fact that there were over 7 million people throughout the United States
Mhm.
that attended those marches. And his question was, so what are you going to do now? We as a culture, we as a people have been through hard times before. So we march because that is a part of the movement. We also have individuals from the majority population who are there with us together. So this is not a movement for civil rights for just Black people. This is a movement for civil rights for all people.
Democracy as a whole in
As
the
a whole,
US.
yes. And so he said, as we come together, we really need to talk about strategy. And we need to be able to then make sure that there is an action plan. And the way that he approached this one, I thought was very interesting in terms of his remarks. He said, he used a sports analogy. He said, think about any of the sports. You always have the offense and the defense. And generally, there's a playbook. So, what is our playbook for being able to address those things that we are experiencing today with the current administration and some of the challenges that have put forth? All people of color, all people who are different, all people who are not wealthy and white are really under attack in some way, shape, or form.
That's actually one of because I didn't attend a No Kings March, although, I've actually been in meetings, with quite a few people over the course of the past week or so that did attend, and my question was, or who wanted to attend, either did or wanted to attend, and they were like, Donica, you're not going?" And I was like, "I'm trying to understand what the broader strategy is, because from my perspective, marching is a tool, and it can be a piece of a larger strategy, but marching in itself is not the larger strategy." And now, I am saying this without having done a deep dive or have done my own research. So maybe it's out there and I'm just not aware of it. But I will say I am obviously somebody who's informed about politics and policy, and the fact that it hasn't come across from a either media perspective or just come across my lane in terms of what the broader strategy is, I think is problematic in terms of the messaging.
Well, I think that's a very good point because there are many ways that we need to go about addressing those things that are happening in our country today because democracy is under attack. We do know that. And because democracy is under attack right now, at this particular time, our government is shut down. So people are not working with pay. There are people who are working but without pay. And then there are people who are furloughed, not working at all. And the people who are being impacted are all of us.
So how was this received in the room?
The audience really received his remarks well because he's been a part of the movement.
Okay. I mean, and also I mean, it's NAACP, so he's probably talking to a more so friendly audience for that message, versus not, I would imagine.
Well, and the NAACP has been known throughout history for over 100 years for being able to fight for the rights of all people, actually, the civil rights in terms of making sure that there's voter registration, fighting for educational equity for all people. So this is a time to be able to support organizations like the NAACP because you need to approach the problem with all different kinds of strategies.
Mhm.
And so that was a part of the message too. So you're right. It was a friendly audience. It was a family-oriented audience. In fact, I was looking around and I thought, I remember as a little girl sitting in the audience attending events like this, NAACP events, SCLC events, Urban League events. And so
What's SCLC?
the Southern Leadership Conference, that
Oh,
was a
okay.
part of
Okay.
what Jesse Jackson, was a part of, and,
I'm familiar with the
there
organization, I just hadn't heard
yes,
that acronym
yes,
before, but yes.
and well, NAACP, that's the National Association of Advancement of Colored People,
Right.
so
That one I know. That one
right,
they talk
right,
in both
yes.
acronyms and
For
the full
many
image
years,
title.
for many years. So I think ultimately you walk away with feeling like this is community, this is family, a lot of churches where they're represented, lots of support across the board
There were
from,
young people in the room?
there were young people in the room, a good
Okay.
mixture of people, and the current president, Dr. Ford, did a great job of being able to bring young people into the movement, if you will,
Great.
and to be recognized. A lot of wonderful people in the community were recognized. So congratulations to all of the folks here in Dayton that received not only awards, but also recognition for the work they have done and are still doing today.
Yes. Including you.
Well, thank you. Well, there's still work to be done
Yes,
because there
that
is
clearly.
still work
Quite a
to
bit of
be
work to be
done.
done.
So, so yeah, so that's what I've been up. What have you been up to this week?
Meetings, just meetings on meetings on meetings, really. So,
Meetings about what?
okay, because I was told to be really specific. Meetings about potential clients, meetings for new initiatives that I might be jumping into. I don't
Mhm.
particularly like to talk about things until they're done. I know a lot of people talk about what it is they're going to do,
Yes.
which I think there can be a place for that, but I'm not here to announce anything until it's signed, sealed, delivered, and the contracts are signed. So I will be more forthcoming in the future. Okay, but for right now, we are still in the meetings, if you will, and in the discussions.
So, excuse me, you asked me about the things I have been doing. One meeting that I was in, I thought about it particularly when I was at the NAACP award because I was have been a part of an organization on its foundation for 19 years. And myself, along with several other board members, are going off the board. And we were recognized for our years of service on this particular board of directors and for this particular organization that we helped grow. There's a new group of people that came in, very, very um, interesting individuals with a lot of background in terms of community, in terms of really commitment to all aspects of public life. and people who have their heart in the right place to be able to problem solve in our community. And so the particular individuals who are now coming on the board had been given some recognition as well. They were chosen to attend a particular event that represents this organization. However, the individuals who had been working there for many years 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 years were not chosen to be a part of a particular this particular event. And I was sitting there at the NAACP event, and I was thinking that systemic bias is still so very alive in this country today. People feel like that they can pick and choose who's coming into the room and who's not coming into the room, and they feel okay with that. That really bothers me. How you and I together can be going someplace, doing the work together, committed to the same cause, but because people choose to then leave you out and people choose to let me in because they think that that's okay, even though we are equally coming into the room doing the work together, really bothers me.
I mean, that's the same across the board, though, right? It bothers you? I mean, or is it just the way it's always been? Because there's always a reason. I mean, I don't tend to believe that things just happen,
Right.
sporadically. I think that there's a reason behind
There
everything.
is a
So,
reason behind it, and those who are in the decision-making positions, then they choose
right.
those people, which they're privileged to do because they are the ones in control. But the fact that they think it's okay to choose or not choose with individuals who have equal standing in terms of the work that they're doing is part of the problem today. But
I mean, well, folks think it's okay until you decide that, or until they're shown that it's not okay.
well,
There's several
that's
different ways that that can happen.
that is true. So, so upon my exit, I chose to let them know how grateful I was to be a part of the organization, but how the way that several of the board members were treated at the end of our term was not acceptable in
Good for
terms of
you.
today.
It's important to speak up.
It is important to speak up. Your grandmother would say it is important to speak up.
Hmm.
Someone has to really hold folks accountable for what they're doing. And that was a part of the conversation that we had
Well,
today.
you've had a lot going on, sounds like.
I have.
So there's a holiday coming up,
Yes, it
Halloween.
is. Yes.
Is it one?
Yes.
It's not one of my favorites, but it was as a child, I guess. I probably enjoyed dressing up and of course the candy. I do carry the candy thing around with me still as an adult. I guess the dressing up piece is fun, and I probably had fun as a youth doing it. I'm trying to think of like specific. I would go over to my friends' houses sometimes and trick or treat with them, their neighborhoods, and then vice versa. They would come over to our house and we would trick or treat. And then we know that you love to throw parties of all different sorts, and so there were a lot of Halloween parties, and there were corn mazes and haunted houses and um
Dried ice with witches and brooms and
yes. Yes, all of that. So how are you thinking about Halloween these days?
well, I'm actually missing the little kid part of it
Yeah, out of your
because
doorstep.
actually in my neighborhood, not as many children. I think last year I had maybe 3 or 4 kids
They've all
actually.
grown up.
They've grown up. And I also believe that today people don't celebrate Halloween in the same way with their kids. Now, they go to the malls maybe, or they have something that's called trunk or treat.
Oh, yeah.
So
So,
the churches have trunk or treat
my gym
events.
has a trunk or treat.
And so there's that kind of celebration. The Halloween tradition is for little kids to have fantasy and have fun.
Mhm.
So dress up like your favorite characters or dress up like your favorite superheroes. You were a superhero one year when you were a little girl. Your godmother
Wonder Woman.
made you.
See, I remember,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
she
my
made you the most fantastic Wonder Woman costume because people kept saying, "Where did you get that?" And I said, "Her godmother made
yeah,
it."
she made me a lot of
Yeah,
amazing things,
she's a good seamstress.
for sure.
And so I kind of I miss that
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 piece.
piece of it, seeing the kids, and because I talk to them, when they
Mhm.
come up to the door, they can't just say trick or treat. They have to tell me who they are, what they are, why they chose the
Oh, that
costumes.
has the whole
And
dialogue.
well, yes, because if you go through that whole conversation with them, then you're giving the kid an opportunity to express himself or herself, and I think participate in the celebration in a special way.
Last year when we didn't have a ton of trick-or-treaters in our neighborhood. I think we had more than 3 or 4.
Mhm.
But, we have this big bowl of candy and we open it up and, "What are you?" and take as much, and so we had some really polite kids that were just took, like, 1 small piece of candy. I was like, "Well, you can take now." Take handfuls, it's
Right,
okay.
right.
But then some of kids, I guess they were older kids, I don't know, when I said you could take more, they took, like, half. Oh, and then, like, you don't wanna push back really because 'cause you're like, "That's" I don't wanna take away from the fun, but also, like, there's a lot like, that was super greedy. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, there is that problem too. I was actually doing some reading just about the whole Halloween tradition, and it is now the second most popular celebration in terms of young people and adults in the country, and
Really? The second most?
seven most after the Christmas holidays, because adults have gotten into it in adult costumes and big parties, and
Yeah.
it's an $11 billion industry with
Really?
all of the decorations and with all of the candy and with the costumes. That's why in your neighborhood you will see these places popping up where you can go in and get the costumes and everything.
That's
So
true, and they're, like, temporary. They come in for, like, a season, and then they
yes, yes,
they leave. It's a lot to decorate. Well, it's a lot to I feel like it's a lot to decorate, period, regardless of the holiday. But, some people are really into it, and I'm
yes,
like,
yes.
"That's a time investment. It's an overall investment." But
It's celebrating life, though. It's deciding that, we are here, we are alive. Let's just go out. Let's celebrate. Let's just take a moment and let's live in the fantasy world, because the real world can just kind of kick your butt every now and
I
then.
don't mind
So
celebrating by attending, but throwing it is a lot. Throwing the
you
party, all
gotta
the
put the
special
work
touches.
behind it. I've told you that
Yeah,
before.
that's
You
true, that is cost.
really cannot just
Can't just
say,
attend.
no, you can't just sit and you have to be able to put the work
You have to
behind
host
it.
too.
And so, yeah, and I think being able to feel good about other people laughing and enjoying themselves. And if I had to be a character today, I was trying to think what I dress up as. Now I've been
What did you
clowns.
Okay.
I've been clowns in the past. I have played a psychic, Madame Darvapuff, and I carried around my crystal
Is
ball.
that was that a
So
real
it was me.
Oh, okay,
I
you
made
made
her.
that up. I was like,
I
that
made her
character in a
up.
book
Yeah,
or something? Okay.
yes. But my employees really liked it because throughout the year, I would have them write down their goals at different times,
Okay.
just because I want to be able to be supportive as a
Mhm.
manager. And so when I was Madame Darvapuff, I would pull out the information that I had, and so then I'd make a mental note. So then when I was with my crystal ball and we are at the party and at the event and they would come to see me, I could talk about what their goal was, and they would think, "Wow, you're really good at this." I say, "Hey, I have the technique." I have to say.
Okay, okay.
Fantasy world,
Fantasy
okay?
world, okay.
Well,
Alright,
yes,
I see.
yeah. Good
Yes,
witch,
I
bad witch, I
that's
mean, there were different times, so.
I don't know, let's see, what would I be? It would dep you know what? It would depend on the comfort of the costume, honestly. So, I remember the last Halloween party I think I went to, I was a pilot, and it was great, it was fun for all the reasons that you just
Mhm.
outlined, but it was just uncomfortable. The costume itself was just uncomfortable. I was like, "I'd much rather be at this party wearing something more comfortable."
See, this is where you should have called your godmother and said
That probably would've taken some more pre-planning outside of just ordering a package off of Amazon and
That's
calling it a
exactly
day.
right. You'd have had to, but see, she could have whipped you up whatever you wanted, and it would have been comfortable.
And it would be comfortable, yeah.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I hope
So,
that everybody has a wonderful Halloween, whether they are hosting or attending or just relaxing.
I think so, and I know that those who don't really believe that it is a fun holiday, I hope that they can then find something else that is equally as enjoyable for the kids
Why
to
would
be able to
somebody
do.
not what do you like,
Because some people feel like it's, sacrilegious, that it is not something, that should be celebrated because there is some people felt like it was worshiping some of the ghosts and
Oh,
those
I
in
see.
hands.
It is a scary, holiday. That's actually probably another reason that I'm not super into it, because I don't like to be scared,
That's right.
and so I don't like scary movies, really. I'll watch them
Right.
occasionally. I have watched them over my life,
Mhm.
but, if we're gonna pick a movie, I'm like, "Can we do a comedy? Can we
Right.
do a good drama?" You
Yes.
know,
Right.
but,
Right.
to pick fear, but people li it's like a massive genre. They're
It
like
it is, and the movies have done very well. They've made, like, Halloween 1, Halloween 2,
3,
they've
4,
updated
18,
those,
19.
they've updated them, and,
Remember the last scary movie you watched?
the last scary movie?
Mhm.
Um, no, I don't remember the last scary movie that I watched, but when I'm asked about, "Do I like scary movies?" I said, "No." But I do know that The Invasion of the Body Snatchers was one of the favorite movies that I really, really was
Did you
scared
watch it?
by. I watched it and then
You watched it like this?
I couldn't go to sleep because a part of the whole theory of that movie, the script is very detailed, but if you fall asleep, then your body is snatched, and so you become then
Oh, wow.
one
Is
of
this
the
old movie?
well, they've had a remake of it,
Okay.
so which, I did watch the remake
Okay.
of
Right.
it.
So then you had the reoccurring nightmares again,
I wanted
and
to
here
see
we are.
if the new one was as good as the old one,
Was
so
it?
no,
Okay. Well, yeah, that seems to track.
um but I don't like scary movies either, so,
Let's see. I'm trying to think of the last scary movie I watched. It might have been it's like one of those murder ones where people come and they're like chasing you. Okay, I can't remember the actual name of it. But we know that I am terrified of spiders.
yes,
Everyone anyone
we do
knows.
know that.
And I've been scared of spiders for as long as I can remember.
This is a true statement, yes.
And
And I've
I
tried every way that I could to break you from that particular fear.
You have, family members have, yes, all different techniques, which just terrified me further. Like having a spider and then like killing it and having me like pick it up because I don't want to see even like a spider carcass. And because I'm hyper aware, because I'm so afraid of it, I'm hyper aware of them so I can spot them. Like if I were to walk into a white room and there was a white spider in the corner, I would see it.
Yes, I know that.
Yes.
You've called me from various places, and so
Around the world.
he said, "Mommy, there's a spider," and I'm thinking, "Okay, I'm, like 2,000 miles away from you. What do you want me to do about it? But okay, mommy will talk you through this."
So even when I've had that fear, I don't know what friend of mine talked me into watching the movie Arachnophobia.
Oh, yes.
But I did. It probably took me like 2 days to watch. There's no way I watched it like all the way. But speaking of ongoing nightmares, that's something that have stuck with me. And so I even when I'm turning on and off a lamp like 20 or 30 years later, now I'm still like, I hope I don't get bit by this super scary spider, or I'm getting in the shower and I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna be attacked when I shut my eyes because shampoo's running down my face? It's scary. They stick with you.
They do, and the particular movie that you're talking about, um, there's a memory that I have for you. You were on a bus trip, and the bus driver allowed the students on the trip to choose a movie,
Oh,
and
is that how I saw it? So it's
and
okay.
you chose that well, you didn't choose, but it's like someone chose
I
that
didn't
movie.
do it.
But when you got ready to do your applications or your essay for college, you actually wrote about that experience.
Oh, okay. So it did have some value.
You did.
And then again, many years later, when we moved to Ohio, we bought a house that I don't know that I realized how long it had been vacant, nor did I realize that when you buy a house on a golf course, it can over-index in spider activity. And so
I don't
when
think it's because it's sitting on the golf course. I really think it's because of the
but
location.
in the 6 or 7, companies, pest control companies that, I've interviewed and worked with over the course of 2 years, 6 or 7, they told me it's not it's okay, so maybe it's the area, maybe it's not the golf course, but I think somebody told me something
We don't
about
have a lot of vegetation around this
and so I
area.
started chopping down trees, and they were like, "Okay, ma'am, we do have, like, a landscaping standard, we can't just, like" get rid of all brush around your house. And I was like, well, if that's where they live.
You
We
don't
have
wanna
to eradicate. I moved into a house of horrors before, we got it up to, well, I mean, the house itself is beautiful and fine, but I was living amongst my worst nightmare, spiders.
so perhaps the, lesson here,
Yeah, what's the life lesson here?
you need to get
Don't
over
move to
your
Ohio.
No, no. You need to get over that fear. So this is a way to be able now that you're an adult and you have more opportunity to be able to think through this. Let's decide we're going to move on and get over that fear.
Is that how fear works? That you just decide you're gonna get over it?
No.
Because when I'm attacked at, 2 a.m. going to get a bottle of water by a wolf spider, I don't know that, like,
You don't
the
have to
decision I can make in the moment, I'm like, "I gotta go."
No, you really have to work on it. So I actually had a friend tell me recently that one of her friends is trying to get rid of her fear of flying, and so she's taking classes on how to be able to do that. So perhaps we need to have some counseling and try to see if at this point in your life,
Because it hasn't
no,
dissipated.
no,
Like,
it hasn't.
it has remained consistent.
I have a fear of going down on elevators. So and I have not been able to get rid of it. I can do it. It just takes quite a while, and it takes me to get rid of everything in my hands and to really concentrate not on the fact that I am going down on an escalator, but the fact that this is going to be okay. It's going to be safe. And I fell when I was about, I don't know, 9, 10 years old on the elevator. And so, I mean, on the escalator.
Mhm.
So that's why I have that fear.
Classes to get over the fear of spiders. Like, I'm here for the classes to progress professionally in other ways, but I'm like, if that involves me, like, sitting in a room, it also takes me back to that, do you remember that show, America's Next Top Model?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay. So there was one season, where a model was also terrified of spiders, and they must have you, like, fill out a form before the show that talks about your fears, because they would do this to the girls on, like, every season, like, "What's your fear?" And then it would show up in a photo shoot, and one girl was terrified of spiders, and they had a photo shoot where, um, they had these tarantulas that you had to shoot with, and they would put them on your face. Yeah, and so she actually did it. That would have been the end of my modeling career. Like, I would there is no way that would happen to
I
her.
understand that. I
There
do
Oh my
understand that.
gosh. And then but it's like, it shows up in the strangest ways. So I also, as you know, I love watching, reality shows around love.
Mhm.
And there was, I was watching, I think this must have been, like, Married at First Sight or something like that.
Which sounds terrifying anyway, just in
Yeah,
general.
that could probably be its own scary movie
I
for
think so. Or Married at first sight, the very first time you see this person and you
and
decide
the families and the yeah, the
and you're
family
walking
reaction.
down the aisle. But okay, that's another podcast. All right.
Well, well, anyway, so you go through, yes, that process, and then eventually in the process, you go to each other's homes so you can gather your things to get into, your new place together, but then they can also see, like, how you've been living,
Mm.
and one man had pet tarantulas, and I was like, "I Are you kidding me?"
She had married him.
She had married him already. Now she didn't like them. I don't know that he brought them with him to go to move into their joint apartment while they figured out whether or
Okay.
not they wanted to be married over the
Okay.
next 8 weeks
All
or
right.
so. But I wouldn't have been able to go downstairs. I wouldn't be able to stay in the house knowing that there's, like, a bunch of tarantulas just roaming in the basement.
I think that probably should have been one of the questions that they ask on the questionnaire in terms of the potential bride and the relationship that they eventually match them up to have. Because I don't think that's something that's even
No way.
fair. Well, no.
But it really is just spiders because I like snakes. Remember when I had a pet snake?
Yes, I do. Of course, I remember when you had a pet snake.
What is a mother's reaction to a daughter who wants to bring home a pet snake?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
That was the reaction that I had.
Yeah.
I thought you and your father had really lost your mind.
Mhm.
That you're not bringing that snake into our house. And you all brought that snake on an airplane from Virginia
Mhm.
to Ohio.
I think this was pre-TSA, but
It was. It was.
the
Back in
story
the olden
is
days.
back in the olden days, we were visiting family in Virginia. I saw a garden snake in my grandmother's garden and was like, "Ooh, pet." And, my father was like, "Of course it's a pet." I grew up with snakes, in the gardens. So we put it in a jar, and I was like, "I don't know how we're gonna get it home." My dad was like, "It's
Yes.
fine. Don't worry about it." So we put it in a jar, put it in my backpack, and then, yeah, we flew it home. And, I was a little concerned about it going I actually wonder how it made it through those machines, 'cause we did have those machines where, they, like, scan everything, but maybe they just thought it was a jar of, I don't know, licorice or something. I don't know,
No, I
it's
don't think
just
they had those machines back then. I think
really?
you see, well, no, I mean, we used to just be able to go to the airport, have your ticket, and get on the
And get
plane.
a okay.
You did not have to have the scanning.
Hopefully so,
This
okay.
is before all of the challenges that they have.
But then
This
many
is
years
new.
later, they had Snakes on a Plane, the movie, and I just thought it was hilarious because I was like, "Oh, I did that." Thankfully, it was a different circumstance, and it wasn't, like, multiple killing
And
snakes, there's just a little garden snake.
well, had the person sitting on the other side of you and your father at that particular time, or in front or back of you, knew that you had a snake, that might have been an issue on that airplane
That's true.
as well. So,
Emergency landing somewhere between Virginia
yes,
and Ohio.
you didn't even have an opportunity to bring that snake home.
I know, like, nobody would let so we tried to bring it home, you said absolutely not, and so then I called, my next favorite person in the world, my grandmother, and she said no, and I was like, "You never tell me no." She was
That's absolutely right.
"Okay, this is where I draw the
Yes,
line."
no, no snakes.
But my grandfather let me put the snake in his truck
Yes.
until we could figure out the next steps.
He did, yes, but see, that's the difference between what I call sanity and insanity at a particular time with a child. There have to be some rules, and some things you say no to, and with the snakes, I was drawing the line. You had all kind of other animals and everything in the household, but no,
No snakes.
not a pet snake.
You draw the line at snakes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
well,
I do.
I hear you.
Um,
So it's also homecoming season.
mhm.
Do you go back
Yes.
to your homecomings?
I have been. I've been to homecomings. Well, my high school no longer exists, so we haven't had high school
How did you
homecomings.
feel about that?
When they decided to tear my high school down and build another school
Okay,
there,
so that kinda tells me how you feel about
yeah,
it. No, it's funny.
actually, it was emotionally challenging
Yeah.
for me. They decided that they were going to take the land, the public school system, and build another building there, and they renamed the area. So not only were they tearing the building down, but the high school that I grew up in and went to was no longer in existence. So those of us who were still involved in some activities prior to this wanted to know what they doing with all of the photographs and all of the paraphernalia, all the trophies and all
Yeah,
the
what were they doing
awards,
with
and,
it?
they put it in storage.
Oh,
So,
in this new building
uh,
or just storage out
storage for
beyond
them.
somewhere?
Yes, yes, storage,
Never to be seen
somewhere.
again.
Probably not. I
Yeah.
have to ask about where some of those things are because, my high school was, a high school that really was very good. The athletes were very good in sports. It's a lot of trophies and a lot of paraphernalia.
So it's homecoming for high school. What about college?
I've been back to the homecoming for college as well, not as often.
Mhm.
I think that's probably more exciting for those either who are involved in sports or involved at the historically black colleges. That's a
Yes.
big deal for those colleges.
Have you ever
So
been to an HBCU homecoming even though you didn't go to an HBCU?
made me wish I had gone to
Yeah.
a HBCU.
Like that weekend, yeah.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I think the camaraderie and the brothers and the sisters being able to get together and hang out, and even the competition,
The
deciding
celebration. And, it's
oh
not about the
my.
game.
So no,
It's about the band.
it's about the bands.
Yeah.
It's about the bands. It's about what you're wearing too,
Yes.
because
Gotta come
at the homecoming games, the sisters and brothers were stepping out,
Yeah,
and the
beautiful people.
fraternities and sororities. So it's a big deal. It also allows you again to just go into a time of your life when you were young and free and having a good time and
You're not
just
still young and free?
I'm young.
Yeah.
Even though I raised her, I'm young at heart. You know what?
You are.
Yeah,
That's so
I
important.
think it is important to be young in spirit, and I'm young. I feel good. I'm healthy. I think all of those things are good. So it's cool to be able to reconnect at a time of your life when you were, I think, really innocent as well. What does innocence mean to you?
What does innocence mean to me? I mean, I'm a lawyer, so I'm like innocence is the opposite of guilty.
But
Um,
when you're young and You're innocent. You can approach life, you can do things, you can feel a certain kind of way.
Well, they don't call it the innocence of youth, they call it the naivete of youth. So I don't know if at least that's the language I've heard around it. You're looking at me like, "No, that's not the language that you've heard around it."
Well, that's an adult phrase. I think that, of course, adults feel that young people are naive. Adults feel that you, as a young person, have no idea of either what you're missing or what you're getting yourself involved in. But when you think about naivete, I believe, allows one to maybe have some innocence, but it also means that you're not really thoughtful about those perhaps consequences of the circumstance.
So maybe it depends on what phase of life you're talking about because I'm talking when I think of when you're saying youth, I'm going all the way back. So I'm like the way kids approach
Mm.
things. They're naive. They have no concept of the consequences unless they are exposed to parents that give them consequences. Um, but I'm not talking about being naive in your teenage years, in your 20 years, because after that you have some life experience.
Yes, you do have life experience. I don't think there's anything wrong with innocence. Um, I I don't think there's anything wrong with being able to learn certain lessons because I think then you don't repeat the same mistakes over and over again. But naivete, I believe, can have some real challenges.
Agreed. I agree with you. Yeah, I think there's some real challenges if you had the same mindset at 6 years old that you would have, in your 20s, 30s, 40s.
Well, you can't really. I mean, you shouldn't.
Look, I feel like some people literally never grow up and still deal with the same things. They don't go through the therapy, they don't do the self-work, and the same issues that they're tackling in their 40s, 50s, 60s are the same issues that they are tackling or that they tackled or they weren't tackling, they were just living through in their teens, 20s, 30s.
Do you think those individuals even know that they have those issues?
I think it depends. I think it takes a level of self-awareness, um, or openness to feedback, and then, so maybe maybe you don't, maybe you think it's fine, and there's all types of different circumstances that could fall under this, but I think it just depends.
At a certain age, you have to take responsibility for your decisions, for the actions that you take, for the fact that it is important to know and then grow. If you
Yeah,
don't grow, then you continue to repeat the same mistakes in different ways
correct.
over and over again. And then that causes your life and your life cycle not necessarily to move forward.
I agree with you. I've heard a quote, it's, "You're not responsible for the trauma that happened to you, but you are responsible
For how
for" yeah, your
you
growth afterwards.
that's right, how you react to it.
Yeah.
It's an important lesson to learn, and which is why, as you know, I'm an advocate for not only self-awareness, but also for therapy
Mm,
to be able to move through something. Many times we don't even know what that trauma was.
right. Therapy's everything. I am also a huge I wonder why. But yeah, you don't even know because you can block it out, you don't remember, um, so many things in our adulthood stem from our childhood, and even that baseline knowledge not everybody knows.
There was a TV show called This Is Us.
Yes, it's so good.
Why do you say it was good?
'Cause it was real, it was relatable, the acting was fantastic, there was true diversity in the cast, and I also feel like almost every character, there's somebody that either you could relate to or somebody, who's going through something similar. So whether it was, Kate dealing with her weight or it was,
Randall.
yes, Randall trying to navigate being a black child adopted by a white family, or it was the father who ended up passing away, all that he was trying to do to support his family and how challenging that was, or the mom who was played by Mandy Moore, I can't remember what her name was, and how she was trying to navigate her career and also deal with her insecurity. I mean, it was just all encompassing. It was family.
It was family, and it was very well done.
So well done.
I liked the fact that they would relate what someone was going through as an adult back to something
Mhm.
that had occurred in childhood, and so they would have that sort of juxtaposition back and forth, and you'd say, "Oh, yes." it allowed me then to sort of think about the fact that perhaps the way I'm reacting to this situation today has something to do that occurred when I was younger, and I just thought they did that so very well.
They did excellent. I'm actually because, again, going back to the fact that I enjoy watching, TV shows, and particularly good TV show not the scary ones, but the dramas, um,
Well-written dramas,
well-written
well
dramas.
yes, yes.
Those still exist, which I am really happy about. There's a
Mhm.
new one that was just on HBO called Task, which is HBO? Yeah, which was fantastic. It just ended, because I'm a little worried about the quality of content, TV content in particular, since it's an outlet that I enjoy moving forward and people just like popping scripts into ChatGPT or having AI write it in a different type of way. I'm like,
Mhm.
then how are you gonna be able to catch, excuse me, the soul of these TV shows that I truly enjoy? Because I think that human element, that human touch is a part of what makes it so special and so relatable.
Many of the script writers for some of the, Emmy award-winning shows talked about the fact of how long it took them either to get their particular show on the air or the research that they had done before presenting the script to the network and being able to actually have the production to move forward. What you're talking about is the fact that there may be shortcuts that, folks will be taking or writers will be taking or producers will be taking. But there's so much content that is necessary today with all the streaming services and with everything that is out there for us to see. There probably will be some challenges. You have to research so that you'll know if it's not only well thought out, well researched, well written, and then well acted. So,
Yeah, I just wanna keep having good TV shows that I can enjoy moving forward. I don't want this AI boom to disrupt one of the activities that I enjoy. We'll see.
we'll see.
TBD.
We will see. Well, good. Well, I've certainly enjoyed all the various conversations
Oh, yeah,
today.
we were all
So,
over the place, but
yes.
that's kinda how we are sometimes.
We are that way sometimes, and I hope that you have a good week. And I look forward to us being able to not only talk about what's going to come up in the future, but having a good week coming up.
Yeah, sounds good. Happy Halloween.
Same to you. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. Bye bye.